I'm just an old hard rocker running from the dusk till dawn. A midnight walker, wondering why it's taking so long.
Well, it's so hard to get into.
And I think there's some people that have tried 6 times and never gotten in.
So I started number 40th on the wait list this year and didn't really move at all, I think, until a month ago. They updated the list and I was, I think, 30th.
It is limited by their permits.
It's a small race. They let in 140 people.
700 people want to do the race.
And then just found out I'm 25th now. We're 5 weeks out from the race.
Just getting in there is kind of a big deal because it's a smaller, it's a smaller number of runners than some of these other runs.
So if you get in, you got to do it, because of the lottery and everything. And it's getting, harder and harder every year.
I think there is a lot of pressure to change the lottery.
There's like the chattering masses on the web, and in person, but everybody seems to gather on the web and it's easier to be mean.
The level of competition, the competitiveness that exists at most other races is really only present for, the top, 4 people or something.
Whoever gets in via the lottery or their system, that's how it is. I'd like to see the race at least have just a little bit of consideration for having a little bit more of a top field.
And I know people are mad about it, and I completely understand, and I see both sides. And
I'd say that the only change that I wouldn't mind would be that to let in elite runners.
I mean, it's the ultimate course to do it, and everybody knows it. That's the problem. It's so great. It's so perfect to have a big championship kind of big race on it that, it's kind of like, why doesn't this happen?
But at the same time, I don't want to take a stance on that, because if we're going to let in elite runners at the expense of, just citizen runners, I think that's not always the greatest answer either.
The race has to evolve with time, whether it be land issues or with popularity. The board of directors I admire for keeping the race somewhat pure and true to its core values and roots, and with respect to the landscape.
The board of directors, and they stick to it, and I give them credit for sticking to it. I think that it really it kind of creates, the draw,
And the board definitely feels that pressure. The board's made up of people that have done it multiple times, and they feel that pressure. I think we're all trying to come up with better ideas of making it more fair, making it more options for people to get in, for the first time ever runners, through people that have volunteered many times and never gotten in.
So I definitely respect, I guess, their point of view, and they never expected the race to get this big, to have 600 or 700 people applying for 140 spots.
I respect the race for its ethics, and if they change, I think they'll change in a good way. I wouldn't want the course to change. I wouldn't want the way anything is done to change. I guess the biggest contention point that I've seen is just whether or not they should let in fast runners or whether they should expand the lottery.
I feel like there's an integrity to Hardrock. Like, this is what we're doing. This is our, it's not for, it doesn't matter if you win or if you come in, in 48 hours. It's just about the experience, and that's the sort of the essence behind it.
And not just assume that because they've won some other 100, they're going to get into Hardrock. But that they come, they volunteer, they do trail work. That way they can earn more tickets to get into the lottery.
I've always thought, maybe eliminating pacers, you could maybe jump up to 300 entrants and be that much more tough.
Eliminate pacers? That would have let a lot more people run, and it also changes the experience entirely. Like, I wouldn't have finished last year without a pacer. That's definitely true, but that would just make it that much harder, right?
What the Hardrock founders, I think, want is a wilderness experience, a wild, tough run. You versus the mountains and everything that's out there. And if you throw 500 people out on this course, you're going to lose that in some sense.
If there's anything that Hardrock has that needs to be preserved, and this goes for any race that utilizes trail, open space, wilderness, wild places, is that we have to remind ourselves that these landscapes are extremely precious, and we're lucky enough to run under our own power through these beautiful places.
I'm just an old hard rocker running from the dusk till dawn. A midnight walker, wondering why it's taking so long. When the sun comes up, that's when I sing my song.